Contact. The void between stars had never felt so vast to Captain Elara Kane as she stood on the observation deck of the ESS Defiant. Earth's most advanced exploration vessel glided silently through the darkness, its revolutionary quantum drive humming with energy that humanity had only recently learned to harness. The ship represented the pinnacle of human achievement, a beacon of hope and curiosity launched to explore beyond our solar system. Captain, we're detecting an anomalous signal at coordinates 347 Mark 62, reported Lieutenant Commander Ravi Sharma, the ship's science officer. His dark eyes reflected the glow of his console as data streams scrolled across the holographic display. Kane moved closer, her tall frame casting a shadow over the workstation. At 42, she was relatively young for a command of this magnitude, but her reputation for level-headed decision-making in crisis situations had earned her this position. Her short, silver-streaked hair framed a face marked by both determination and wisdom. Classification, she asked, studying the erratic pattern of the signal. Unknown, Captain. It doesn't match any known natural phenomenon or artificial transmission pattern in our database. The signal appears to be changing as we observe it, almost as if it's responding to our scans. Kane's eyes narrowed. Distance. Approximately 3.2 light-years from our current position. If we engage the quantum drive at maximum capacity, we could reach it in under 2 weeks. The bridge fell silent as the crew awaited her decision. First Contact Protocol recommended extreme caution when encountering potential alien intelligence. The safer choice would be to document the signal and return to Earth for a properly equipped scientific mission. But they hadn't ventured this far to play it safe. Plot a course, Lieutenant Commander. Let's see what's calling to us from the darkness. The journey toward the mysterious signal passed in a haze of anticipation and preparation. The crew of 150 specialists, the best Earth had to offer, worked tirelessly to ensure every system was functioning at optimal capacity. In the officers' mess, theories about the signal's origin spread like wildfire. It has to be artificial, insisted Dr. Maya Chen, the ship's xenobiologist. The pattern shows too much complexity to be natural. Commander James Wilson, Kane's second-in-command and an old friend from the academy, shook his head. We've been fooled before. Remember the pulsar at Gliese 832? We thought that was a beacon until we got close enough to analyze it properly. This is different, Ravi interjected, pushing his food aside to project the signal pattern above the table. Look at these modulations. They're changing in response to our observation. It's almost like quantum entanglement at a massive scale. Kane listened to her crew debate, allowing their expertise to flow freely. This was why the Defiant had been sent, not just to discover, but to understand. Humanity's first serious venture beyond the solar system was as much philosophical as it was scientific. 13 days later, they arrived. All stop, Kane ordered as the Defiant dropped out of quantum transit, the view screen illuminated with a sight that drew collective gasps from the bridge crew. Before them hovered a massive structure, a latticework of gleaming metal and crystalline formations that seemed to bend space around itself. It stretched for kilometers in every direction, its geometry defying conventional physics as sections appeared to exist in multiple places simultaneously. "My God," whispered Commander Wilson. "It's beautiful." Ravi's voice trembled slightly as he reported, "Captain, the structure appears to be composed of materials unknown to our science. Energy readings are inconsistent. Parts of it seem to phase in and out of our reality." "Life signs?" Kane asked, her voice steady despite the awe she felt. "Indeterminate. Our sensors can't penetrate the structure's outer layer." Ravi paused, his eyes widening. "Captain, the signal, it's changing again. I think it's inviting us closer." Kane considered their options. Protocol dictated maintaining a safe distance until the nature of the encounter could be determined. But something about the signal called to her, not just as a captain, but as a human being reaching out to touch the unknown. Take us in, helm. Maintain minimal thrust. All departments on high alert. As the Defiant approached the alien megastructure, the signal's pattern shifted once more, taking on an almost musical quality that resonated through the ship's communication systems. The closer they got, the more the structure seemed to unfold like a cosmic flower, revealing layers of complexity that hinted at technology millennia beyond human understanding. At 1,000 kilometers, the signal abruptly ceased. "Captain," called the communications officer, "we're receiving something. It's not audio or visual, but the computer is trying to interpret it." The main view screen flickered, then displayed patterns of light and color that shifted too quickly for the human eye to fully process. Kane felt a strange pressure in her mind, as if someone, or something, was attempting to communicate directly with her consciousness. "Everyone, maintain focus on your stations," she ordered, fighting against the disorientation. "Ravi, what are we looking at?" Before the science officer could respond, the patterns coalesced into a form, vaguely humanoid but composed of light and geometry rather than flesh. Its voice, when it came, seemed to bypass their ears and speak directly into their minds. "Obesity RVRs from Earth. UAAVREACHEB and your CRADLE. We AKVE and waiting." Commander Wilson moved closer to Kane, his hand instinctively moving toward his sidearm. "Captain, should we?" "Stand down, Commander," Kane said firmly. "We're making first contact." She stepped forward, addressing the entity directly. "I am Captain Ilara Kane of the Earth spaceship Defiant. We come in peace, seeking knowledge and friendship." The entity's form rippled. "PC is a Kiko and CPTBORN of CONFL like CT. Knowledge is a Paykeith to human DERS Dieng. Friendship RQY is SHAREDXPRA. Ence." Kane felt a chill run down her spine. "We're willing to learn and share experiences. That's why we're here. Your kind stands at a precipice. The void watches. We OFFE or EVOLUTUVIAN." Before Kane could respond, the entity expanded, its light encompassing the bridge. The last thing she remembered was a sensation of falling through layers of reality, her consciousness unraveling like a thread pulled from a cosmic tapestry. And then, darkness. Admiral Helena Carter stood before the United Earth Defense Council, her weathered face solemn, as she delivered the news that had haunted her for 5 years. "The search for the ESS Defiant has been officially terminated," she announced to the assembled representatives. "After 5 years with no contact and exhaustive sweeps of the last known coordinates, we must presume the ship and its crew have been lost." The council chamber remained silent. The disappearance of humanity's most advanced vessel had been a devastating blow to Earth's exploration program. Conspiracy theories had flourished in the absence of answers, ranging from catastrophic drive failure to abduction by hostile aliens. "What of the anomalous signal they were investigating?" asked the representative from the African Union. Carter's expression hardened. "We've analyzed all available data transmitted before contact was lost. Our best scientists still cannot determine the signal's nature or origin. And you're certain this region of space is safe for future missions?" The European representative's voice carried a hint of accusation. "As certain as we can be," Carter replied. "The Sentinel Defense Initiative has established a monitoring station at the edge of that sector. If there is any threat out there, we'll detect it long before it reaches Earth." The Sentinel Defense Initiative had been Earth's response to the Defiant's disappearance, a massive upscaling of military and defensive capabilities designed to protect humanity from whatever unknown forces might lurk among the stars. Carter had overseen its implementation, haunted by the faces of the crew she had sent into the void. After the council meeting, Carter retreated to her office in the orbital command station that served as SDI headquarters. Through the viewport, Earth gleamed blue and white against the blackness of space, beautiful, vulnerable, and now warier of the cosmos than it had been 5 years ago. Her meditation was interrupted by an urgent communication. "Admiral, we're detecting a quantum signature approaching Earth's defense perimeter." Carter straightened. "Classification." "That's just it, ma'am. It's the Defiant." 20 minutes later, Carter stood in the command center, watching as the impossible unfolded on the main display. The vessel approaching Earth bore the unmistakable configuration of the ESS Defiant, but with alarming modifications. The once sleek hull now featured geometrical patterns that seemed to shift as the sensors attempted to lock onto them. Energy readings fluctuated wildly, suggesting power generation capabilities that defied current understanding of physics. "Hail them," Carter ordered, her voice betraying none of the turmoil she felt. After a moment, the screen flickered to life, revealing a face that had haunted Carter's dreams for 5 years. Captain Elara Kane. She looked exactly as she had in her last transmission, not a day older, but her eyes held something different, something that made Carter's instincts scream a warning. "Admiral Carter," Kane said, her voice carrying an unfamiliar resonance. "Request permission to approach Earth. We've returned with knowledge humanity needs." Carter found her voice. "Captain Kane, your ship was declared lost 5 years ago. Explain your current status and where you've been." Kane's expression remained eerily calm. 5 years. For us, it's been mere weeks. We encountered beings beyond our comprehension, Admiral. They call themselves the Architects. They showed us things, changed us, and they warned us of what's coming. What's coming? Carter felt her heart rate accelerate. The Void Collective, a species that systematically eliminates emerging intelligences before they can reach their potential. They've detected Earth's quantum experiments and marked humanity for extinction. Before Carter could respond, alarms blared throughout the command center. "Admiral," called the sensor officer. "Multiple objects just appeared at the edge of the solar system. They're accelerating toward Earth at impossible speeds." Kane's voice remained unnervingly steady. "They followed us home, Admiral. But we brought everything we need to fight them. The Architects prepared us for this moment. Humanity's evolution begins today, if you'll trust us." Carter stared at the woman who had once been her protégée, now transformed into something both human and other. On the tactical display, the approaching objects, clearly vessels of some kind, continued their relentless advance toward Earth. The future of humanity hung in the balance of her next decision. Evolution. Admiral Carter's decision came with the crushing weight of responsibility for 7 billion lives. "Captain Kane, you have provisional clearance to approach Earth Defense Station Alpha. Any hostile action will result in immediate response from our defense grid." She turned to her tactical officer. "Keep weapons locked on both the Defiant and these approaching vessels." "Understood, Admiral," Kane replied. "Though your weapons would be ineffective against either." The transformed Defiant moved into position near the orbital defense station, its hull shimmering with energy patterns that defied analysis. Kane and 3 of her senior officers transported aboard using technology that bypassed all security protocols, simply appearing in the station's conference room as if the barriers between spaces were mere suggestion rather than physical law. Carter's security team raised their weapons instinctively. "Stand down," the Admiral ordered, though her own hand rested on her sidearm. She studied the arrivals carefully. Physically, they appeared unchanged. Kane, Commander Wilson, Dr. Chen, and Lieutenant Commander Sharma looked exactly as they had in their personnel files. But there was an unnerving stillness to them, a presence that seemed larger than their physical forms. "We have approximately 18 minutes before the Void Collective's advanced scout ships enter weapons range," Kane stated without preamble. "I need to show you what we're facing and what we've become." She raised her hand, and the conference room disappeared around them. Carter gasped as she found herself standing in what appeared to be open space, stars surrounding them in all directions. The approaching alien fleet was visible now, massive biomechanical ships shaped like predatory deep-sea creatures, their hulls bristling with weapons unlike anything humanity had developed. "This is no hologram," Kane explained. "Your consciousness is temporarily interfaced with ours, a capability the architects bestowed upon us." Carter struggled to maintain her composure. "What happened to you out there, Ilara?" Kane's expression softened slightly at the use of her first name. "The beings we encountered exist partly outside our dimensional understanding. They've been observing developing species across this sector of the galaxy for millions of years. When they detected our quantum experiments, they recognized something in humanity that they wanted to preserve. They transformed us," Commander Wilson continued, "enhanced our cognitive abilities, our perception of reality. But we remain human at our core." Dr. Chen stepped forward. "The architects showed us the pattern of species development in our galaxy. When civilizations reach the technological threshold of quantum manipulation, they inevitably attract the attention of the Void Collective, a species that evolved billions of years ago and views emerging intelligences as threats to galactic stability. They've eliminated 17 developing civilizations in the past 10,000 years," added Ravi. "Earth would be next." The cosmic view around them shifted, showing the Void Collective's ships cutting through space toward Earth with terrifying speed. But now Carter could see the Defiant as well, positioned between Earth and the oncoming threat. "Why didn't these architects intervene directly?" Carter asked, her tactical mind searching for the angle. "They cannot," Kane replied. "Their existence operates under constraints we can barely comprehend. But they could act through us, through humanity. They offered a choice. They could hide Earth, mask our quantum signature temporarily, buying us perhaps a century before discovery. Or they could transform the Defiant and its crew into something new, a fusion of human ingenuity and their technology. And you chose for all of humanity." Carter couldn't keep the accusation from her voice. Kane met her gaze unflinchingly. "We chose to fight rather than hide. We chose to stand not just for Earth, but for all developing species in this sector." The vision abruptly ended, and they were back in the conference room. Carter steadied herself against the table, her mind reeling from the experience. "The scout ships will arrive in 15 minutes, Kane said. "The main fleet follows 6 hours behind. The Defiant can handle the scouts, but we'll need Earth's cooperation to face what comes after." Carter's tactical officer burst into the room. "Admiral, the approaching vessels have accelerated. They'll be within weapons range in 10 minutes. Carter looked at Kane, searching for any trace of deception. Finding none, she made her decision. "What do you need from us?" "Trust," Kane replied simply. "And prepare your people. Humanity is about to witness war unlike anything in our history." From the command center of Earth Defense Station Alpha, Admiral Carter watched as the Defiant moved to intercept the Void Collective scout ships. 5 alien vessels, each nearly twice the size of Earth's largest battleship, decelerated as they approached the outer defense perimeter. "All Earth defense platforms, hold fire unless directly engaged," Carter ordered. "Let's see what our evolved crew can do." The scout ships detected the Defiant and immediately moved into attack formation. Energy weapons of unimaginable power lashed out, beams of coherent plasma that would have vaporized conventional ships instantly. But the Defiant was no longer conventional. The energy beams struck what appeared to be folds in space around the Earth vessel, dissipating into nothingness. The Defiant's response defied understanding. Portions of its hull seemed to extend into dimensions beyond normal perception, before releasing concentrated bursts of what Ravi had termed reality distortion fields. The lead scout ship shuddered as these fields made contact, its structure seeming to collapse in on itself, as though fundamental forces had simply ceased to exist within its boundaries. 2 more scouts launched what appeared to be living projectiles, organic torpedoes that adapted their trajectory to avoid defensive measures. "My God," whispered Carter's tactical officer. "Those things are changing course faster than anything could react." But the Defiant didn't attempt to evade. Instead, the space around it crystallized momentarily. freezing the torpedoes in what appeared to be localized time stasis. Then, with surgical precision, beams of focused energy reduced them to their component atoms. The battle, if it could be called that, lasted less than 3 minutes. 4 of the 5 scout ships had been neutralized, their wreckage drifting in space. The 5th turned to retreat, but the Defiant performed an impossible maneuver, appearing to fold space around itself to materialize directly in the alien vessel's path. A final burst of energy, and silence fell across the battlefield. Captain Kane's voice came through the command center speakers. "Scout ships neutralized, Admiral. We've taken 1 prisoner for interrogation. The main fleet will alter course once they realize their scouts have failed. We have perhaps 5 hours to prepare." Carter felt a chill run down her spine. The power she had just witnessed was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. If Kane and her crew decided to turn against Earth? No, she banished the thought. If that had been their intention, they wouldn't have needed this elaborate scenario. "Return to the station, Captain. We need to coordinate our defense strategy." The following hours passed in a blur of activity. Earth's unified military mobilized as news of the impending threats spread across the globe. Panic was surprisingly minimal. Humanity had long speculated about first contact scenarios, and the government had contingency plans in place. In the station's strategic command center, Kane unveiled the true capabilities of the transformed Defiant. The ship can project a defensive field around Earth that will mitigate their long-range planet-killer weapons, she explained, manipulating a 3-dimensional tactical display with mere gestures. But maintaining this field will require all our energy reserves, leaving us unable to mount an offensive. That's where Earth's defense fleet comes in, Carter concluded, understanding the strategy. "We attack while you shield." "Precisely. But your weapons will be ineffective against their hull composition unless modified." Kane turned to Ravi. "Lieutenant Commander." Ravi stepped forward, his movements fluid yet somehow disconcerting in their precision. "We've transferred specifications to your engineering teams. Your quantum torpedoes can be recalibrated to disrupt the phase state of their biomechanical hulls. The modification is relatively simple." Commander Wilson added, "The Void Collective operates with a hive-mind intelligence. Their individual ships are formidable, but they rely on centralized command from the flagship. That's our primary target." Dr. Chen's quiet voice drew attention. "Admiral, there's something else you should understand. The architects didn't just enhance our technology, they enhanced us. Each crew member of the Defiant now carries a piece of their knowledge, integrated into our human consciousness. We remain ourselves, but more." "How many of your crew have been changed?" Carter asked. "All 150 of us," Kane replied, "each with different enhancements based on our original expertise. Maya can now perceive biological systems at the molecular level. Ravi understands quantum mechanics in ways that would take Earth science centuries to develop. James can calculate battle scenarios across 11 dimensions simultaneously." "And you, Captain?" Carter challenged. Kane's eyes seemed to shimmer momentarily. "I see patterns, Admiral. Possibilities. The flow of cause and effect across time and space. I see the path to humanity's survival. And ultimately, its ascension." The tactical officer interrupted. "Admiral, we're detecting spatial distortions. The main fleet is arriving earlier than predicted." On the main view screen, space itself seemed to tear open as the Void Collective's main fleet emerged. 47 massive vessels arranged in a formation that mimicked the structure of a neural network. At their center, a flagship twice the size of all others pulsed with malevolent energy. Kane's expression hardened. They adapted faster than expected. All Defiant crew returned to the ship immediately. As the enhanced humans departed, Carter turned to her communications officer. "Broadcast on all frequencies, all languages. The people of Earth deserve to know what we're facing." Across the planet, humans watched in disbelief as the largest space battle in their history unfolded above their world. The Defiant moved into position between Earth and the alien armada, its hull shifting in ways that strained human perception. True to Kane's word, a shimmering field of energy expanded from the vessel, encompassing the entire planet like an iridescent bubble. The Void Collective's initial salvo, beams of concentrated dark energy designed to destabilize planetary cores, struck the shield and dissipated in spectacular cascades of light. Earth's defense fleet, hastily retrofitted with the modified quantum torpedoes, engaged the alien vessels from multiple vectors. The battle that followed would later be described by poets and historians as both beautiful and terrible, a dance of destruction across the stars as humanity fought for its very existence. The Defiant remained stationary, all its power directed toward maintaining the planetary shield. But through the tactical network, Kane's voice guided the Earth fleet with preternatural precision. Battle Group Theta, target the junction points on the vessels at coordinates 33 Mark 47. Their regenerative capabilities are weakest there. Cruiser Damascus, break off your attack run on the left flank. Temporal distortion detected in your path. All vessels, adjust torpedo yield to 78.3%. Higher yields are being neutralized by their adaptive shielding. With Kane's guidance, the Earth fleet fought with unprecedented coordination and effectiveness. But the aliens' technological superiority was evident. For every Void Collective ship disabled, 3 human vessels were destroyed. In the command center, Admiral Carter watched the casualty reports mount with grim determination. We're losing too many ships. At this rate, we won't last another hour. Admiral, Kane's voice came through the comm. We've identified a weakness in their command structure. The flagship contains a quantum singularity that coordinates their hive mind. If disrupted, their fleet will be temporarily disorganized. How do we disrupt it? Carter demanded. A pause. The Defiant must drop the planetary shield and engage directly. We'll need precisely 3 minutes to reach the flagship and deploy our primary weapon. 3 minutes with Earth completely exposed. Carter calculated the risk. That's too long, Captain. Their planet killers would have more than enough time to target our major population centers. Unless they're otherwise occupied, Kane replied. Admiral, I need every remaining ship in your fleet to launch a coordinated attack on their weapons platforms. A suicide run, if necessary. The request hung in the air, heavy with implication. Carter looked around at her command staff, seeing the same realization in their eyes. She opened a channel to all Earth vessels. All ships, this is Admiral Carter. Earth needs 3 minutes. 3 minutes to ensure the survival of our species and our world. I'm asking for volunteers for a diversionary assault on the Collective's weapons platforms. The response was immediate and unanimous. Ship after ship acknowledged the order, not a single captain hesitating. Humanity stands together, Admiral, came one response that spoke for them all. Carter turned back to the tactical display. You have your 3 minutes, Captain Kane. Make them count. The Defiant's planetary shield collapsed, and immediately the transformed vessel accelerated toward the Void Collective flagship. As predicted, the alien fleet's planet-killer weapons began charging, targeting Earth's largest cities. But they never got the chance to fire. Earth's remaining vessels, cruisers, destroyers, even civilian ships pressed into service, launched a desperate, all-out assault on the Collective's weapons platforms. Kamikaze runs, point-blank torpedo detonations, ramming maneuvers. Humanity threw everything it had at the enemy. Meanwhile, the Defiant performed maneuvers that should have been physically impossible, folding space around itself to bypass the outer defensive ring of the alien fleet. It took damage. Portions of its hull breached by weapons specifically designed to counter its phase-shifting capabilities. But it pressed on relentlessly toward the flagship. 30 seconds to contact, Kane reported, her voice trained for the first time. Preparing quantum resonance cascade. The Defiant reached the flagship, its remaining weapons clearing a path through the last defensive line. As it closed to optimal range, the alien vessel seemed to recognize the existential threat, attempting to withdraw into a higher dimension. Too late. The Defiant unleashed its primary weapon, not a destructive force, but a pulse of pure information encoded in quantum states. The pulse struck the flagship's singularity core, and for a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then reality itself shuddered. The singularity at the heart of the flagship collapsed in upon itself, creating a cascading effect that rippled through the alien fleet. Their hive minds severed, the Void Collective ships fell into disarray, their coordinated attack patterns dissolving into chaos. Earth's remaining defense forces seized the advantage, targeting the now vulnerable vessels with their modified torpedoes. One by one, the mighty ships of the Void Collective were disabled or destroyed. When it was over, the space around Earth was littered with debris from both human and alien vessels, a graveyard orbiting the planet that had come so close to extinction. The Defiant, heavily damaged but still operational, limped back toward Earth Defense Station Alpha. Captain Kane's transmission carried both victory and sorrow. "Admiral, the immediate threat has been neutralized. But this was only the first wave. The Collective will send others once they realize what's happened here. Then we'll be ready for them," Carter replied firmly. "Humanity just proved what it's capable of when united against a common enemy." Kane's image on the viewscreen smiled, a genuine, human expression that momentarily banished the otherworldly aura that surrounded her. "The architects were right about humanity. Your species possesses something rare in this galaxy, an indomitable spirit combined with endless adaptability." "Our species, Captain," Carter corrected her. "No matter what changes you've undergone, you and your crew are still human." Kane nodded. "The architects offered us knowledge, but what we do with it is entirely our choice. They believe humanity has the potential to become a guardian species, protectors of developing civilizations throughout this sector of the galaxy." "One battle at a time, Captain," Carter said, though her mind was already racing with implications. "For now, bring your ship home. Earth has a lot to learn from the Defiant's crew." As the battered Earth vessel docked with the station, humanity faced a new dawn. No longer alone in the universe, no longer ignorant of the cosmic dangers that lurked among the stars, but also no longer limited by their previous understanding of reality. The crew of the Defiant had returned transformed, bearing gifts of knowledge and technology that would forever change human civilization. The path ahead would not be easy. The Void Collective would return, and other challenges would arise. But humanity would face them standing tall, their eyes fixed on the stars not just with wonder, but with newfound purpose.